I think on Rodolfo and Robbie. Robbie's had a fantastic pre-season. He's been with us from day one. Even he came back into market really early. So I think one of the things that I identified really early is that we need more goals in the team. So I think what Robbie Robinson provides us is a real attacking threat down that left-hand side. And Rodolfo, I think the combinations of Rodolfo dropping in sometimes and Robbie going higher and Gonzalo sometimes dropping in, I think we've got really good combinations, with Lewis playing a little bit wider on that right-hand side. So Robbie's predominantly a centre-forward, but I think what we see in world football at this moment in time, you see a lot of centre-forwards that gravitate towards the side of the pitch. And I think at this moment in time for Robbie's development, that gives him a little bit more freedom, a little bit more time on the ball, and it allows him to play a little bit more freely. And I think I'm really pleased. I'm super pleased with both of them. Rodolfo obviously is a big game player, and I think as we're getting closer to the big games, I can just see that he's dialing it up a little bit. So I'm pleased with them both. In terms of today for me was more about the physical side rather than what I saw from a technical point of view. It was an in-house game. I wanted them to get 90 minutes under the belt. I think it's no secret that we've had pretty bad luck with games being cancelled. So I wanted to get 90 minutes in their legs. And that was the main focus from today, because I don't want us to get into the game next week and be short physically, knowing full well that it is the start of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Next, we'll go to Kobe Price.
Hey, Phil, can you hear me?
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing well. Good seeing you again.
Nice
had a few questions for you, so bear with me here. But I kind of want to follow up on one of Michelle's last questions. I know you said this is more so about the physical part of it, but how did today, if it did, reflect the tactical and I guess your philosophies from that standpoint? How much did they carry that out today?
Well, I think obviously we've been working really hard every single day on the movements that we wanted. And today there was once or twice where we got those movements, and we did really well with those movements. I think what the difficulty is with playing these in-house games, and I think we've played 4 or 5 now, is that ultimately everybody knows each other's movements, everybody knows the patterns of play, everybody knows where everybody's going to go, and everybody knows the strengths and weaknesses of each other. That's why I focus more purely on the physical side of the game, because ultimately it didn't replicate really from a tactical point of view probably what we're gonna face next week against LA Galaxy. So we've worked really hard on the training ground on the movements. We've worked really hard on integrating Kelvin, Jovin, Ryan, Gregory, in the last 4 or 5 days, and when we've got another 5-6 days before the LA Galaxy game to continue with that methodology. So that's these in-house games. I said to the players at the end, they're really difficult, particularly when you get to this stage of pre-season. These pre-season games towards the end are difficult because your focus is on LA Galaxy. You want to get to that game as quick as possible, but particularly when you're playing against each other for the 4th or 5th time. Today was more about attitude. Today was more about that physical side of it for me.
And how do you measure the readiness of this team for LA Galaxy, considering, you've only been able to play, 2 games against other teams and a bunch of other canceled ones?
Well, I think ultimately we'll find out next Sunday how ready physically we are, how much we can sustain the way that we want to play for 90 minutes. Physically on the training ground, that there's only so much you can do. Match sharpness, match fitness. The tempo of a match is totally different. So we try to replicate that as much as we can. We've tried to train them as hard as we possibly can. And next Sunday, we hope that we go into the game and we're not short. But ultimately, it's the situation's been out of everyone's hands. We've tried to be positive about it. And you know what? It's not an excuse. We are ready to play LA Galaxy. We're physically fit enough to play LA Galaxy. And now we just want to make sure that the week goes smoothly in terms of making sure everybody stays healthy and fit.
And I see Franco's got his hand up, so this is going to be my last one for now at least. But I want to ask, with the DP situation, it is what it is. Obviously, Chris is working through it, but a lot has been made and said about, Matthias and what the effect is going to have on him. How have you, seen him hold up? What's his emotions like, or what his attitude has been like these past few days or weeks?
It's been incredible. I've got to say, the boy from day one has had a smile on his face. His attitude's been fantastic. He's put in the performances, his quality and his confidence compared to what I saw last year to the player that I've seen for the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's an outstanding young player, an outstanding young boy. And, everyone knows the situation here. Matty has been really mature about the situation. Obviously, it's been dealt with at this moment in time. But from a coach point of view, he's been an absolute dream to coach.
Thank you, Kobe. All right, next we'll go to Franco Panizo.
Thank you, Jackie. Hey, Phil, just a few quick ones for you. One on Rodolfo Pizarro. I think one of our initial conversations, I think it was during the stadium launch, you'd said you wanted to get him a lot more touches on the ball. You wanted to get your more skilled players a lot of touches on the ball. And I think we saw some of that today. Maybe didn't occupy as high positions as he did most of last year. He was up there, but he also dropped into the midfield line and tried to help pick up the ball, move the ball from there. Is that something you want to see more of from Rodolfo this coming season? And then just 2 quick ones on Gregori and Mabika. What do you see from Gregori as he adapts to the team and back into a group setting after having, I guess, a few weeks of just individual training? And is Mabika going to be someone that you guys are going to sign? Obviously, he's been with you guys since the start of preseason, and he played today. So just wanted to ask about those 3 players.
Okay. Question 1. Rodolfo. We said I think 3-4 weeks ago, Franco, that getting Rodolfo on the ball and influencing the game and having bigger impacts is one thing that we've been working on. Finding the spare players, finding out quality players on the ball and letting them work their magic is something that I want to give them the platform to do that. And I think that you saw tonight or today, this afternoon, that Rodolfo was around everything. You think about that 3 in midfield, Gregori, Blaise and Rodolfo. A lot came through Rodolfo, and we've been working really hard on that combination. So I'm really pleased. He's come back from international duty, and he's really put his foot down in terms of the intensity of his work. And I'm pleased with him, and it's exciting to see him play like this. I think he plays similar positions for Mexico in terms of a little bit deeper at times, where he can be more influential in possession. So ultimately, he's playing the position that he likes to play in. Gregori, question 2.
Yes.
Was he's come in and I knew his ability. But his character has surprised me a lot in terms of his willingness to learn every single day. He'll sometimes come up to my office and we'll talk through how we want the team to play, what his positions are, how we're going to connect with everybody in the team. So from a young player's point of view, that's quite impressive, because normally they just maybe sit back and just take it on slowly. But he wants to learn so fast. He's learning English so fast as well. The boy has come here to win. I've got to say, you can tell by the way his actions are, the way he speaks, his body language. He's come here to win, and he's really determined. Now, he's a little bit behind everybody else in terms of the preparation physically, because his season finished probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he's had that period of rest that we wanted him to have. So he's playing a little bit of a catch-up, but he's been really impressive so far.
Mabika.
Maybe question 3. I think,
sorry.
I never forget when we in the draft picks, the day before the draft picks, we interview a lot of the boys, and we have sort of like we speak to a lot of the draft picks just to get to know them, to get to know about their families. And I never forget Ame. It was only probably my second day in the job probably, and he came on in the interview on Zoom, and he had a shirt and tie on and a suit. And you talk about first impressions, and I never forget Sir Alex Ferguson always used to say to us, whenever you go into an interview, whenever you all meet your wife's or your girlfriend's mother and father, the first impression is the one that impresses them the most. And I've got to say, he had a shirt and tie on. He spoke with such class and humility, and he was polite. The things that I love about young players, they say please and thank you and show respect. And ever since he's come in, he's been a sponge in terms of trying to learn so much. He's got so much space yet left to develop. There's going to be times when he's with the USL team. There's going to be times when he's training with us. But in terms of what we've seen so far, I think we really like what we see.
So you'll be signing him?
Is that question 4?
It's like, yeah, I mean, it was question three. It was question three. But what you say? What you guys?
Yeah. I think it's no secret. We want him to be an Inter Miami player.
Cool. Thank you.
Any more, Franco? Do you want to throw a fifth one in?
I always have a few more, but I'll leave it to the others if they have anything else.
Thank you.
I'll try to leave it to one or two going forward.
Yeah.
Thank you, Franco. We'll take one more question each from Michelle and Kobe. Michelle, you're up.
I want to ask you about two young players. It's one question, two players. One is Edison Ascona, what you've seen from him. I mean, we've seen him playing with the Dominican team, and he scored today. And also this young boy named Harvey Neville.
I don't know him, to be fair. No, I think Eddie was, from my point of view, he was unfortunate that he had to leave us to go to, obviously, the Olympic qualifiers. Great for him, great for his experience, but ultimately spent probably 2-3 weeks away from our bubble and our preparation. So he played for the USL team last night, and he's been with the USL team the last week. But what I wanted is to make sure that he knew how much I believe in him, that he knows that by playing today for 45 minutes was part of the plan, that if he keeps working hard, and that is a big challenge, and if he keeps his determination, if he keeps developing, he hopefully has got a big future at this football club. You think about developing our own players, he's definitely one that is part of our thoughts. He's got something a little bit special. He's tough, and you saw today. When you saw him in the lineup in the tunnel, you think, oh, he's just small, but you know what? He's tough and he's strong and he's aggressive and he never gives up. And he was disappointed to come off at halftime. That's what I loved about it. He played 45 last night. He was only playing 45 today, and he didn't want to come off at halftime. I think the kid has got a real chance. So that's good.
How about your son? What's his story?
My son, well, to be fair, I'll be totally honest with you. He's visiting his dad. I've not seen him for 2 months. My wife and daughter and son came out last Thursday. I've missed him like mad. He's obviously at Manchester United at this moment in time and got a contract there, and they've given permission to come out here for 10 days to see his dad, because we're such a close family, and ultimately to train with us and to keep his fitness up. I've got to say he's loved the weather. He's loved being free out here in terms of Fort Lauderdale and into Miami. And I love having him here, but unfortunately he's a Manchester United player.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Last one from Kobe.
I just got one final question for you, so there you go. Wanted to ask more so just about you. How have you been adjusting to, I know you've been with obviously clubs before on the system level, but, being the head coach at the club level, how's that adjustment been, going from country to club and being here on a, day-to-day basis with the team as much as you have over the past, I guess, month or so?
Yeah, it's just felt normal. It's felt, when you feel at home and you feel every day just feels like, nothing really special. It just feels like home. And every time I drive down that I-95 and I come off at Commercial Boulevard, it just feels like I've been here for all my life. And that's how quickly that I've settled. I've got to say, I went to Spain, and for 6 months I was, every time I phoned my mum and dad, or every time I thought of home, there was that little butterflies in my stomach, because it takes you time to settle. The minute I settled at this football club, or the minute I landed in Miami and I came to the training facility, it's just felt like home. And I think that's because of the people in and around the place. It made me feel so welcome. The players have given me everything, I've got to say, so far. And that's the biggest compliment I can pay to people in this area and people in this football club, is that it feels like home. It feels like I've been here for a long time, even though I've been here for only a short time. And I've got to say that you speak to any manager or any player that wants to play at the top level or manage at the top level, it's not until you get to like the week before the season, I've started to have them little feelings in my belly coming closer to LA Galaxy, because these are the games. This is why I took the job, to managing the big games. The players now are just beginning to dial it up, because the big games is now just around the corner. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we just want the action to start. I'm sure if you speak to every manager and every player in the MLS, the break has been a long time for everybody. From November, December till now, and I think it's just time just to get the ball out and just let's have some fun.
Phil, thank you so
Thank you.
much for your time.
Thanks,
Kobe,
guys.
thank you.
See you next week.
Thanks, Phil.